The NBA is the most global league in the world. More than 43 countries have produced NBA players, with nearly 12,000 men drafted across the decades. Yet among all those names, only one has ever come from India, a nation with a population of more than 1.4 billion people, nearly 18% of the entire planet. Against all odds, Satnam Singh did the impossible and became India's first and only NBA player. His story is one of dreams, sacrifice, setbacks, and reinvention, and it's a tale that still inspires millions across the world. India had never produced an NBA player. The sport was rarely encouraged there, and the country's best players weren't even professional athletes. Most of them worked side jobs to support their families. For Indian kids, basketball wasn't a path to success. It wasn't even considered a possibility. And yet, from a tiny farming village of just 8,000 people, Satnam Singh would emerge. Growing up, his life was never meant to be about sports. His responsibility was supposed to be taking over his family's farm. He even left school early to help with chores and maintenance, with no knowledge that basketball even existed. But Satnam had something no one could ignore. He was abnormally tall. At 10 years old, he was already 6'6". His father stood 7'2" and his grandmother nearly 6'9". That kind of size was rare, and soon people were whispering to his father that maybe this boy's future wasn't on the farm. One day, his father read in a newspaper about a local academy seeking anyone over 6 feet tall to try basketball. Curious, he sent his son to give it a shot. At first, Satnam thought he was joining a volleyball program. He had never seen basketball on television, never touched a ball before. But when he stepped onto the court, something clicked. He loved the game immediately, and with his size and strength, he was good right away. His first coach declared that this boy was born to play. At only 10 years old, Satnam made a decision that would change his life. He left home to train full-time at one of the only basketball academies in India. It wasn't easy. The facilities were poor, the wooden courts full of holes, the roof leaking, the gym unbearably hot in summer. He hated being away from his family. He wanted to quit many times, but people around him began to believe. They thought maybe this boy could become the one, the first to make it. And at the perfect time, the NBA launched a new initiative to grow the game in India. They sent Troy Justice, director of basketball operations, to search for talent. In 2010, when Justice arrived, the very first boy he met stepping off the train was Satnam Singh. Justice couldn't believe it when he learned the towering teenager in front of him was only 14. Satnam didn't even own basketball shoes, playing instead in slippers because his feet were a size 19. Shoes simply didn't exist for him in India. Justice immediately called home and had shoes shipped overseas. From that moment, Satnam's life would never be the same. He soon led Punjab's youth team to a national championship, and his name began to spread. IMG Academy in Florida, one of the premier sports schools in the world, agreed to take him as part of a partnership with Indian basketball. IMG had a history of developing raw giants into stars. Satnam was just 14, already 6'11", and projected to grow taller. For his family, sending him across the ocean was a terrifying leap, but it was also his only shot. Arriving in America brought new challenges. He barely spoke English, struggled to understand teammates and coaches, and felt completely isolated. He thought he was coming to play basketball, but his early days at IMG were spent almost entirely in the weight room, strengthening his body. Layups and dunks that once felt easy became harder under pressure. His confidence wavered. He played on junior varsity, averaging fewer than 5 points. But Satnam never quit. At 15, he was selected to play for India's senior men's national team, the youngest player in the history of the program. He held his own against grown men, scoring 6 points in one game and showing flashes of promise. Slowly, he adapted. He worked relentlessly, learned English, and gained the respect of his coaches. They described him as hungry, humble, coachable, and willing to run through a wall if asked. By 2013, his improvement was clear. He played well in the Asian Championships, scoring efficiently against Thailand and Kazakhstan. Back at IMG, he averaged nearly 10 points and 8 rebounds per game against top competition. Scouts began to notice. Interest came from programs like Kentucky, Arizona, and Michigan State. The path seemed set: dominate in college, then chase the NBA. But then disaster struck. Satnam's academics fell short of NCAA requirements. Despite all his progress on the court and his improvement in English, he didn't qualify for Division I. The plan shattered. Junior college was one option, but many feared that would be a step backward. Playing in Europe was another, but it would remove him from the spotlight. His agent found a loophole. At 19, Satnam was technically eligible for the NBA draft. It was a long shot. No one had been drafted straight from high school in a decade, but it was the only shot left. In 2015, Satnam entered the NBA draft. His agent got him into the combine, where he met legends like Larry Bird and worked out for the Celtics, Kings, Wizards, and Mavericks. Some saw him as too slow, too raw, too unready. Others saw potential, a stretch big man who might develop into something special. Draft night arrived and the world waited. India had never had a player drafted before. Pick after pick came and went. At 52nd overall, the Dallas Mavericks called his name. History was made. Satnam Singh, the farm boy from Punjab, had become the first Indian ever drafted into the NBA. Back home, he was hailed as a hero, a symbol that basketball dreams were possible in India. But while the story was historic, the reality was harsher. He never played in a regular NBA game. Instead, he spent 2 years in the D-League with the Texas Legends, putting up meager numbers. He played summer league games but showed little progress. By 2017, his Mavericks contract expired, and no other NBA team offered him a deal. His career in America was over before it began. He continued to play overseas, joining the Canadian Pro League, where he once again put up modest stats. He represented India multiple times in international competition, sometimes playing well, even scoring 20 points against Jordan in World Cup qualifiers. But just as his momentum grew, a doping ban ended his basketball career for good. At just 25, the dream was over, and yet Satnam's story didn't end there. He reinvented himself. Using his size, charisma, and fame, he entered the world of professional wrestling. Since 2021, he's been part of All Elite Wrestling, carving out a new career as a wrestling star. He has gone viral for his performances, even winning a tag team world championship. At 30 years old, Satnam Singh is no longer the NBA's great hope from India, but he remains a pioneer, a man who proved that history can be made from anywhere. He never played an NBA game, but he broke barriers. He carried the hopes of 1.4 billion people and inspired the next generation of Indian basketball players. Without him, the door might never have opened. Today, he stands as a symbol of perseverance, of transformation, and of chasing dreams no matter how impossible they seem. So what do you think? Did Satnam's journey prove that timing and circumstance matter as much as talent? Could college have changed everything for him? Or was he simply too raw for the NBA? Share your thoughts in the comments below.